Hey, everybody, this is Kara.
This is Deja.
And this is Ed.
And this is your day's dumpster fire,
where we don't celebrate humanity's successes,
but its most fantastic failures. I think that was the most seamless version of that intro that we've done in a very long time.
I didn't have to use an accent to mask my nerves of messing up a script.
Right? You did it, guys.
That I've said like 1,700 million times in my head.
Yeah, it's fine. I still need to use the script too.
It's okay.
See, to me, it's easy. Like, to me, I don't know. Maybe because I wrote it, but I just feel like it's easy to remember. But I don't know.
I'm so happy for you.
Audience, let us know in the comments if we need to change up the intro.
I think that I'm doing really good with adding in a little bit of like Southern twang here and there. You know, maybe I throw in a little accent. I was going to do some Russian, but I'm not. I think it's going to sound French, so I won't do that.
Maybe aim for French.
Dumpster fire.
Vodka.
Nope.
Yeah, see, I didn't do it, so it's fine. It's okay.
Just remember, everything in Russian just ends in like ov or ski. So that's all you got to do is put ov or ski at the end of everything, and you're speaking fluent Russian. According to our Russian students, that's exactly how it works.
I can do that. I can also speak Italian. You want to hear it?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Ballerina cappuccina. Me. As Ed
Lord.
covers his head.
This is everywhere.
Cringe.
I love it. Being in upper elementary and then being in middle school, they have the glory of hearing all the brain rot terminology that their children indulge, on a daily basis. But my students are a little too young. They're too young still, a little bit. And so when I found a really funny brain rot that I liked, I walked into middle school at the top of my lungs and I said it and they were like, no!
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Every minute of it.
Glory.
Yeah.
Glory.
And of course, our middle schoolers are just taking it and running with it. They're like, we got this from Deja. And then,
Yeah, first they cringed at you, Deja, but now they're starting to embrace it.
Yes.
It's true.
Well, speaking of children, Kara, what are we eating today for our episode?
What are we doing today for our episode? What are we doing today?
We are going to get into the final part, chapters, whatever you want to call it, portion of the Donner Party. So welcome to part 3.
The final course.
It's the final countdown.
Dessert.
I'm sorry. Tough crowd.
And and I know like there's a dude that dies horribly from gangrene. So like he's leaking the weird juice that comes out of a Slim Jim.
That would be George.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
don't ruin Slim Jims for me, please.
I might do that for you. I'm sorry.
Hey, look, there's not going to be any mechanically separated people.
No nuggies or hot dogs.
Yeah.
From my end, it sounded like you said volcanic. Honestly.
Volcanic.
So I had to like erase that and be like, wait, hold on. What are we saying?
Sick.
Volcanic. Explosive? What?
I kind of wish I could put together like an HBO last time on the Donner Party. But last time on the Donner Party,
yeah, but you gotta have it like the really epic voice, just like previously on the day's dumpster fire.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Last week on the day's dumpster fire. Was that Siri enough?
Yeah, it was good.
Thank you. Been working on it in the mirror.
On part 2, the Donner Party made it up to the Sierras, and then they got stuck in over 10 feet of snow. Tried to get over the pass over a number of days, didn't work, and then a smaller group of people called themselves the Forlorn Party, made some snowshoes, tried to make it through the snow. After a lot of suffering and starvation and a little bit of murder, they made it to a small Native American village. And we had 7 survivors out of the 17 people who left there. If I remember right, that number was 17.
I thought it was like close to half of them.
Yep.
Didn't make it or something like that.
7 survivors made it through. All of the women and like 2 dudes, so go ladies, they made it through. At the same time, our guy, James Reed, was in California trying to get a rescue party together.
This was the guy that was banished, right?
Yep. James Reed, the guy that was banished in part 1 of this little series.
He was banished for a self-defense situation, and then they voted him off the island.
Correct.
And now he's probably going to be like everybody's savior.
I guess we'll find out.
In the shocking conclusion.
In the shocking conclusion of the Donner Party.
Dude, we got to get the voice from, what is it, Funimation's, the guy that does the previously on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, we got to do something like that. That'd be sick.
There's got to be a way to do that. I'll look that up.
Yeah, we got to look that up.
I'll insert it somewhere. That'd be epic.
I would like that. Okay, Chapter 9, Some Relief. Here we go. The first relief party, organized by John Sutter. So the guy who owns Sutter's Fort, he was talking with James Reed for a little bit. And he's like, yeah, you should go to San Francisco and get people together. Yeah, same guy. He began his journey into the Sierras with a full understanding that this mission would put his life in danger along with the people he brought. So I just wanted to put that out there. Like these guys knew that going on this rescue mission would probably put themselves at great risk on top of just the people they're trying to save. So for the first relief party, we have 7 guys who came with Sutter. We have Aquila Glover, Reason P. Tucker, Sept Motri, Ned Coffeemeyer, which great last name, Joseph Sells, Daniel Rhodes, and John Rhodes, Daniel's brother. This is the first relief party. So these are the guys who left while James Reed was still looking for people to travel to the pass.
These are very unique names.
Right? They have some cool names.
It's like, hey, I need to find, like, we got to go rescue all these people, but the only qualifications that I ask is that you have a interesting name.
Yes.
Ned, your first step. Come on, Coffeemeyer.
Come on, Coffeemeyer. Let's go.
Let's go.
I believe Sutter paid these guys like $3 a day or something similar to that, what Reed was paying his guys.
That's a lot.
So they were paid. However, there are only 7 of them, but it's fine. The first relief party left on February 5th, 1847. And as they were leaving, James Reed was also in the process of building his own relief party. Reed was armed with military aid and volunteers from Sacramento and San Francisco. And the determined father left for the Sierra Mountains 2 days after the first relief party had left, so he wasn't too far behind. As the first party traveled up the mountains, they would burn a pine tree to mark where they had been and leave a trail for other rescuers to follow them. So because they knew they were the first, they wanted to leave some sort of trail, kind of like Hansel and Gretel with the breadcrumbs, but more effective because they're burning trees.
That's clever.
Yeah.
Period.
Right?
Because that's going to stay that way. It's not like you put down breadcrumbs and the birds just eat it and then you're screwed. No, like there's like this swath of burnt trees going out as far as the eye could see. That's a really good idea. Oh, I'm so leaving that in.
I was hoping that you guys were talking over it. Oh, it hurt too. That was a rough one.
Yeah, let's just say Deja's drinking some modified Dr. Pepper.
Got a little hair on my chest.
It's got a little bite to it.
Sick.
It's cheap, though, so it's fine.
It's fine. We're doing great.
Saving money.
Yes. So as they reached higher altitudes, they began emptying their backpacks and burying anything deemed unnecessary to lighten their load. So what these guys would do, and Reed did this too, is they would bring a bunch of stuff and then they would leave caches of food and supplies on the trail. So on their way back, they could return to it and they would have supplies for the journey home.
That's kind of like, whatchamacallit, our episode on getting to the South Pole.
Yeah, it's very similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like we'll put links in the show notes, but they set up like these depots along the way so that they would actually have resources on the way back.
Mm-hmm. It's very similar to that.
Smarties.
Yep. On February 17th, they found themselves camping on the Yuba River just west of the Donner Party's cabins. And the next day, they traveled through the pass and into the valley where the lake was supposed to be. Except they didn't see a lake. They just saw a bunch of snow. They estimated that the lake was underneath the snow about 15 to 18 feet deep. One of the 7 men, his name was Daniel Rhodes, wrote about what they witnessed when they came across the Donner camps. At sunset, we crossed Truckee Lake on the ice and came to the spot where we were told we would find the immigrants. Emigrant with an E. We looked all around, but no living thing except ourselves was in sight. We raised a loud hello, and then we saw a woman emerge from the hole in the snow. As we approached her, several others...
I'm sorry, but as soon as you said a woman emerging from the snow, I thought of Ace Ventura when he's coming out of the rhino and he's just like kind of confused. I pictured a woman coming out of snow very similarly to that. Sorry.
Like the arms.
Yeah,
just like look, it's the miracle of birth.
Look
like
away,
people are like
Tony.
covering their eyes.
Look away, Tony.
Probably more like meerkats, I think.
Yeah. I like how Kara goes to like something wholesome, and then Deja and I are going straight to
the
Ace
kisser.
Ventura.
I'm sorry. It's like a little like you know our lower elementary guide when she comes out into the sun and she just feels that the ray of the sun on her face and she's like, oh yeah. It's kind of similar to that look where it's just like confused.
Like this lady, just like this snow lady. Oh, who are you guys? Haven't seen you in a while.
It's like, when'd you guys get here? I don't know why she sounds like that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're totally making her out like some weird hillbilly that lives in snow. Instead, she's just some hillbilly that's living in snow. But proceed.
Okay. As we approached her, several others made their appearance in a manner of coming out of the snow. So, like, just random people started popping up out of the snow, I guess.
Really?
They were gaunt with famine.
Like little prairie dogs. Like
really gaunt, skeletal, hungry prairie dogs.
I was thinking,
welcome.
Sorry. Okay, it's over.
I bet they probably did look like they were on the verge of death, though. Like they probably
were.
they probably look like something that you would see like in The Walking Dead. Like,
yeah, it was really bad.
I bet they were in really bad shape.
They were gaunt with famine.
Yep, that'll do it.
And I never can forget the horrible, ghastly sight they presented. The first woman spoke in a hollow voice, very much agitated, and said, "Are you men from California, or do you come from heaven?"
Wow.
So that
Heaven,
was a
brother.
guy, right? Well, can you imagine? Like they've been up there for 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Just underneath snow the whole time, and then you have these men that you honestly don't know.
So what party or what group was this that was buried in the snow? Because there were some that were in the cabins, right? And then
this is the group that's in the cabins.
Okay.
Because
did they burn the
went there
cabins and that's
first.
why they're all like coming out of the snow, or
They're all buried.
Oh, so they're buried inside the cabins underneath the snow.
Correct.
The
Wow.
snow is thick with 3 Qs.
Yeah, like a capital
Yeah, no,
K.
they were all buried. So when they got there, the men who were there and they saw nothing but snow. Later, they estimated that the lake and the cabins were about the lake level, or under 15 to 18 feet of snow.
God.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So yes, it sounds funny
Awful.
when you're talking about these people coming out of the snow like that, but in reality, they were living underneath
That's
the snow.
mm-hmm.
And what's crazy is that's
Yeah.
probably what kept them alive, because that all that snow actually retains heat. So that was probably the thing that kept them from freezing to death.
I was thinking that too. I
Yeah.
was like some kind of like igloo situation there,
Yeah.
keeping the warmth inside.
Man.
The rescue party took in the very shocking sight. About 12 bodies covered by quilts were laid across the white snow. 48 people were still alive but starving and in various conditions. Some were on the verge of delirium. Some had already passed on at this point. in a condition that was beyond their abilities to aid. So some people were just in such rough condition that they knew that they couldn't save them. At the cabins, it was reported that Margaret Reed and all of her children were still alive, along with Tamsin Donner and her children. The Breens were able to keep their children alive throughout the winter as well. And up to this point, the people at the lake were not forced to eat the bodies of the dead in order to survive. So far, the people of the cabins haven't had to resort to such measures just yet.
What do they do for food, though? I mean, did they just really ration out what they had, or were they able to find stuff?
A little bit of both. So they really rationed out whatever they had left in terms of their livestock and nuts and whatever else they could find around the area. Sometimes they were able to get a deer. I think one of the men before the Forlorn Party left shot a bear. And then after that, it's just like rats or bugs that they found here and there.
Literally anything.
Literally anything. It was to a point where they were making stews and soup out of leaves and sticks.
And shoe leather. Yeah, leather from clothes and stuff like that. So it's a good time. The rescue party told the survivors that they would be able to take the most able-bodied people first. So they weren't going to take the weakest, they were going to take the healthiest. The reason for this was to ensure that the trip would be faster and another round of resources could be sent to them hastily. They took 21 people with them, mostly women and children, including our friends Virginia, James, and Margaret Reed. Tamsin Donner was asked to return when the relief party made their way to Alder Creek, but she refused. Her husband George was suffering greatly from an infection in his hand that has gone gangrenous, and he is also suffering from starvation. She refused to leave his side and told him that she would wait for the next round of rescuers. Oof. And that's at the camps. So they traveled from the cabins and then they went to the camps to check on the Donners. And Tamsin wanted to stay with her husband. She refused to leave him in that state. And for our audience out there that's not too familiar with gangrene, it's obviously an infection, but it's one of those, like, even if you get it today, it is, yes, it's very treatable, but even that, it scares doctors. Like, that's a pretty bad situation to be in, let alone back then where there was nothing they could do except for maybe amputate. There was no treatment for it. He probably had really bad fevers, chills. Like, he must have been very uncomfortable that whole time.
Yeah.
So, moral of the story, don't get gangrene, guys.
Yeah, let's not get gangrene. That's a bad deal.
Yep.
So the first relief party stayed for about 4 days to give people resources, whatever food they had, or they were able to give and ration them out. And by February 22nd, they and the rescued settlers began to journey back to California, leaving the remaining 31 people there without enough food to sustain them all. They knew they didn't have enough food, but they could only leave so much. They didn't have enough to be able to feed the 31 people who remained. The youngest Reed children, Patty and Tommy, could barely stand. Their mother was told that they needed to stay at the camp as the journey wasn't safe for them. Margaret Reed pleaded with them, and then she tried to convince the relief party to allow the family to return as a whole. Mr. Glover, one of the other men in the rescue party, told Mrs. Reed that he would return to the cabins after taking this party back to California personally if they didn't meet James Reed on his way back with his own rescue team. So they essentially told Mrs. Reed that the two youngest kids needed to stay back at the camps underneath all the snow while Virginia and Margaret and James Jr. went on. So she had to leave her two youngest babies behind.
I accidentally read ahead on that and I felt a little heartbroken before you even said. I was like, oh no, oh God, what I do? I'm like, no.
It's like, when did you tell me this was going to be so depressing, Kara?
I tried.
She's like, stop talking about silly things, guys. It's gonna not age well. Oh. Poor babies.
So Mr. Glover's words, I know, no babies. Mr. Glover's words seemed to help Mrs. Reed a little bit, but it was really, I think, also Virginia was able to talk her mom into having them go along. And the big thing too was that the idea of meeting James on their way back was probably another thing that convinced her. But she did leave the 2 youngest behind within the cabins. And Patty, who was just 8 years old, told her mother that she would take care of her younger brother. And just before leaving, Patty told her mom, "Well, Ma, if you never see me again, do the best that you can."
Oh, my heart. That was the part I was like, oh,
Virginia
God.
Reed.
Tears.
And she was 8.
It's like
She was 8 years old.
Oh, gosh.
Have the wherewithal to even come to those terms like that is wild.
Yeah. Virginia Reed wrote, "It was a sad parting, a fearful struggle. The men turned aside, not being able to hide their tears. Patty said, 'I want to see Papa, but I will take good care of Tommy, and I do not want you to come back.' Mr. Glover returned with the children and, providing them with food, left them in the care of Mr. Breen." That's what Virginia wrote about the situation. And with that, the party set out towards California. The snow was steep and deep in some spots. Virginia Reed described the snow as being as steep as stair steps. Her brother James was waist deep in it, doing his best to keep up. And what kept him going was the thought of getting closer to his father and to food. Can't blame him.
Yeah, that's a pretty worthwhile goal to go for.
Dad and food. And he hasn't seen it. Remember, he hasn't seen his dad since October.
Yeah.
And we're in February. So we're getting there. On the second day of travel, the first relief party stopped at one of the cache sites to recover the food and supplies they had stored up. Upon their arrival, they discovered that the food had been eaten by animals.
That's disrespectful.
A lurching feeling of despair had washed over them, and without that food, they feared they would starve.
Jeez.
Despite the feeling of sadness and anxiety, they pressed on in hopes that the next cache would not be empty.
Ooh, the fury.
On the 5th day of travel, I know. It's okay. We're going to get through it. On the 5th day of travel, the men in front of the party saw something moving in the distance through the trees. They waited to get a good look at whatever was coming towards them. Eventually, they saw a group of men on horses carrying bags of foods and resources. It was the second relief party on their way to the cabins. Leading the way was James Reed.
Hey.
Yay! The 2 parties began shouting greetings to one another so they could meet. When Margaret Reed heard her husband's voice, she stumbled in the snow trying to get to him. They had been apart for 5 months, and Margaret believed Reed was dead. He was then, after that, greeted by Virginia and James, and it was a really sweet moment. James Reed wrote about his reunion with his family and the rest of the party. He says, "Here I met my own wife and 2 of my little children. 2 still in the mountains. I cannot describe the death-like look of them. Bread, bread, bread," was the begging of every child and grown person.
See, if they packed a bread machine, they wouldn't have this problem.
All right, Ed.
Mm-hmm.
Disqualified.
And Deja was really into it, too.
I know,
just pulled her right up.
Like, okay. Ruin the moment.
James was given provisions he could. James had given the provisions he could to the first relief party and said his goodbyes to his wife and children. He had to keep going to the cabins to save as many as he could, including Patty and Tommy, who were left behind. And they parted ways in higher spirits, hopeful that they would make it to Sutter's Fort. So now we're going to transition. We're going to follow Reed, and we're going to leave the first relief party, and we're going to go back to the cabins.
And hopefully nothing happened. Like that first relief party, I'm really hoping that like nothing eventful happened. They got back to civilization, and that's
not what happens.
That would be like a very boring part of the story. So we left it out, right?
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers
crossed.
Fingers are so crossed. I hope these fingers can reach the pasto times.
I'll let you hold on to that hope, and we're going to keep going and slogging through this depressing stuff first.
Okay.
Here we go. Reed was given some information on the conditions of the people back at the cabins. Understanding that the people were starving, barely able to walk, he knew that he had to get there as fast as possible. He also understood that the amount of provisions he was bringing was not enough to feed everyone. He picked up the pace to get to the cabins as quickly as the snow would let him. On the way, he sent teams of 2 men ahead to leave caches of food for the return trip, just as the first relief party had done. So while he was traveling with the rest of the men and all the food and all of that stuff, he sent 2 guys ahead. Back at the cabins, the people were doing their best to survive. They ate bones, leather, and a rat if they were lucky. On February 26th, Patrick Breen wrote in his diary, "Hungry times in camp. plenty of hides, but the folks will not eat them. We eat them with tolerably good appetite, thanks to the Almighty God. Mrs. Murphy said here yesterday that she thought she would commence on Milton and eat him. I do not think she has done so yet. It is distressing. The Donners told the California folks 4 days ago that they would commence on the dead people if they did not succeed that day or the next in finding their cattle, then 10 or 12 feet under the snow, and they did not know the spot or near it. They have done it ere this.
So, question about this. So, we had the Forlorn Party. Then we have the Donner group, which is they're like just trying to survive in like tents and whatnot. And then you have the group here in the cabins. Did they all like individually, like in groups, did they come to the conclusion of the whole eating the dead thing? Or was it something that they discussed when they were all together the last time? Like, I guess my question is this something that they independently came up with? Or was this something that was a strategy that was employed or discussed before they separated?
No, it was never discussed before they separated. Because if you remember from last part, Forlorn Party, that was a discussion that they had.
Yeah.
But over in the cabins and at the Donner camps, things have gotten so bad in terms of food that people are now contemplating it.
That is
individually.
So in other words, that is something that is kind of like hardwired into the human psyche, is that if it gets bad enough, anybody could come up with this conclusion. Meaning they're not sick and demented, weird cannibals. This is more evidence pointing to how dire the situation is that they came up with this conclusion independently.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good way of looking at it.
Interesting.
The next day, on February 27th, Reed sent 3 of his men, Misters Cady, Clark, and Stone, ahead of his party. He wanted them to ride ahead and reach the cabins before they did and get a head start for the survivors there. The men did as they were told and rode to a summit in hopes of seeing the lake or the cabins from there, so they had a better sense of direction. They agreed amongst themselves that if they could not get a good view of their destination, they would report back to Reed. On their way to the summit, they stumbled upon a skeleton leaning against a tree. They recognized the guns and the clothing. It was Charles Stanton. So I don't know if you remember. Was that the guy that was
potentially murdered in the last one, or?
Charles Stanton was the guy who got snow blindness.
Oh, that's right.
And was left behind. He told
him to like leave him.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, they found him. Yeah. Cady, Clark, and Stone continued on the path until they reached the cabins the next morning. They found that people were still alive in the cabins. They gave provisions to a Mr. Keysburg, Breen, Graves, and Mrs. Murphy. Once they went through the cabins at the lake, they made the 7-mile trip to the tents where the Donners were camped. They made it to the Donners by midday and provided provisions to them before returning to Reed. They came back from reports of the camp, and it was in dire, dire shape. And now the survivors have officially resorted to eating the dead. One source claims that the men witnessed someone carrying a human arm before throwing it into the snow. Another person said that they saw Jacob Donner's 3 children eating his organs at the camps. I believe it was described as the 3 children sitting on a log eating a heart with blood dripping down their chins.
That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I just didn't need that in my head.
You're welcome.
Oh, God.
It's rough.
You know, when you say 3 little children sitting on a log, I thought eating their curtain away.
Little 3 tuffets.
Not quite. Not
quite. It was curds and whey is what you mean.
Yes.
So yes.
So these are the reports that Cady, Clark, and Stone came back to Reed with. So Reed was still trying to make his way up.
Man.
Breen's diary officially ends on March 1st. It marks the day that Reed and the rest of his party made it to the cabins. It states, March 1st, 10 men arrived this morning from Bear Valley with provisions. We are to start in 2 or 3 days and cache our goods here. They say the snow will remain here until June. And that was the last entry in Patrick Breen's diary.
Oh my gosh. This is a disaster.
Well, Breen makes it, just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know. To me, it's just, how do you even wrap your head around? Like, if you're one of those guys that were in that rescue party, how do you wrap your head around what you're seeing? Like, how do you make sense of this?
Yeah, it's bad.
It's just, to me, that would be a psychological blow or traumatizing to those folks. And they're like healthy.
Right? Just seeing something like that, just witnessing it.
Yeah.
Reed entered the camp and it was in shambles. 10 settlers had died, many of them unburied. Some survivors had eaten the dead to keep themselves alive. Reed wrote about what he had witnessed when he arrived at the lake. So this is Reed's entry now. Among the cabins lay the fleshless bones and half-eaten bodies of the victims of the famine. There lay the limbs, the skulls, and the hair of the poor beings who had died from want and whose flesh preserved their lives of their surviving comrades who, shivering beneath their filthy rags and surrounded by the remains of their own holy feast, looked more like demons than human beings. They had fallen from their high estate, though compelled by the fell hand of dire necessity. So Reed understood, like, this is horrible, but they had to.
Yeah.
That last line there, compelled by the fell hand of dire necessity, kind of tells you what he's thinking.
Yeah, the meaning that when they came across this, again, this wasn't people that lost their minds. And, this wasn't like their first go-to thing. That it was evident, and he's trying to make it very apparent that don't judge these guys, these men, women, and children. Don't judge them for what they did. It's more like this is what they had to do.
Right. As soon as Reed had arrived, he began handing out small amounts of food to the people who remained in the camps. He made soup and clothed William Eddy and William Foster's kids. So William Eddy and William Foster are two of the men who went for the forlorn group, and they're actually the two men who survived.
Oh, okay.
Reed delegated his men to help as many people as possible to prepare them for their journey ahead. His goal was to leave as early as the next day. So if we remember from Breen's account, they were supposed to be there for 2 or 3 days. But once Reed saw the conditions of the people, he's like, we got to get out of here and come back as fast as we can.
Yeah.
From the cabins, Reed then traveled to the Donner camp. He first arrived at Jacob Donner's tent. Mrs. Donner, Jacob Donner's wife, not Tamsin, was in weak condition, but she was alive. Her husband passed earlier in the winter. Next, he then checked on George and Tamsin Donner, and George was near death. The infection in his hand had spread, and he was too weak to move. Tamsin was healthier, and Reed tried to convince her to leave with him. She would send some of his men to return for George and Elizabeth. He would send some of his men to return for George and Elizabeth. Tamsin argued with Reed, saying she would not leave her husband there in those conditions under any circumstances. And Reed was not a dumb guy. He was a very smart man, and he did not argue with her. He concluded that this was an act of...
This was George's wife?
Tamsin, George's wife.
Okay, so the guy... So the guy who's dying from gangrene, the wife was like, I'm not leaving.
Yeah. Okay. This is the same woman who refused to leave with the first relief party.
Got it.
So even still now with the second relief party, she's like, I'm not leaving. And Reed did not argue. He's like, I know I'm not going to win this fight.
Not to mention her even putting up the fight too much could kill her. She's probably that weak.
Yeah. From the accounts that I was reading, she's actually one of the stronger people in all the camps, cabins and stuff. But
see, to me, that is fascinating because it's like they're all in the same situation. And you obviously got people that are not eating as much as others just for ration purposes. But then it kind of makes you wonder, like, okay, what was about her physiology that made her one of the strongest ones?
I don't know.
Like, it's just interesting whenever you look at a survival situation like this. It makes me wonder, like, okay, what is it about this person that made them stronger than somebody else? And they're all in an identical scenario.
You know what? There's that American, I can't remember the name of it, Primeval or whatever it was. Yeah. The Netflix show. It's I mean, it's when like the Mormons and the Indians were going at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a long time ago, right? But like this woman, you're watching this woman and her child like fight for survival through these different places, like going through Utah and everything, and you're like, you just think like she's a pretty like small person. Like, how is it that she's gone through all this like horrible weather, all of this crazy, like these crazy attacks? And granted, this is like a made up show, but it's very similar to this, where it's like this woman's gone through all these different like obstacles and she's made it extremely far. But like, what is it about her and like you're saying, her physique that like is getting her through this, when you have like, you know, these corn-fed men that are like huge, you know,
Yeah.
they've got meat on their bones to kind of last them.
Yeah, it's like, why are they wasting away, but then this other person isn't wasting away? It's just
that
interesting.
Good saying, men die first.
Yes.
Because they make stupid choices. I wonder. No, I'm just kidding.
No, they took a shortcut that they shouldn't have done. Look, honey, it's a shortcut. This will work out great.
She's like, no, we should go the right way. He's like, no, honey, we should go this way. And she's like, no.
Oh, the I told you so's.
You can only imagine.
At the end of this must be.
Oh, the I told you so's, imagine.
Oh, 100%.
Reed left the Donner camp with extra food. So he left them with some food to make sure that they'd be okay. And he promised that help from more people was on the way. He took Jacob Donner's 3 remaining children with him to prepare for their trip the next day. Reed and the second relief party took 17 people with them, most of them children. Reed knew that the 100-mile journey back to Sutter's Fort would be slow and painful. 3 men, Stone, Katie, and Clark, stayed behind to assist remaining people at Truckee Lake. So he left 3 healthy men to stay behind to make sure that nobody else died. And left, I think he only took 1 other adult, and everyone else were children, like 16 kids.
Ooh.
I think. It was something like that.
Okay.
Rumor has it.
Not 3, all those hungry kids. I mean, you remember how much our kids complained and they were like down in Tucson and how starving they were?
I was going to say my kids can barely make it to lunch before complaining about it.
Yeah. And they're going to be like 10 times worse than these kids too. Like, oh, we're going to die.
Complaining way more.
You're going to be fine. Yeah.
They're not allowed to complain anymore.
Nope. They've lost all complaining rights.
That's right. Oh, yes. Mrs. Graves was the one who came along. So rumor has it, and I thought this was interesting. Rumor has it that Mrs. Graves, before she left, stashed away about $500 before leaving. All that's written from contemporary sources is that it's behind a rock somewhere, and only Mrs. Graves knows where it is. It's never been found.
Okay. That is interesting, because I literally, in my news feed, this article popped up about like the Donner Party's gold.
Oh, did they find it?
And there was like one person he claimed, this was in the late 1800s, I think.
Oh.
He claimed that he found like 250 gold coins, and supposedly that was that money.
Interesting.
But the whole article was about how like there's a large sum of gold stashed away there, like the Donner's gold kind of a thing, and it's still a mystery as to if it's ever been discovered or not. And I'll try to find that article and link it in the show notes. It was a pretty interesting read, and it just so happened to pop up on my news feed before this episode. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that's a fun little mystery. I think people have hiked there too, looking for it. And from what I understand, they haven't found it yet. Or maybe somebody did find it and nobody said anything. I don't know.
Do you guys want to go look for it?
Yeah, sure. Not in the winter, but we can go in the summer.
Okay. Yeah, no, you got me messed up before going in the winter. I will not make it one day. She tried getting to her car and she perished.
So that $500 would be worth about just shy of $20,000 today.
Okay.
Not to mention too, like if it isn't gold coins, those coins are worth more than gold because they are so rare. So Yeah, there's probably close to, my guess would be almost $100,000 chilling around out there somewhere.
Pretty good number. Let's go find it, guys.
Yeah. Let's go up there in the middle of winter, and we'll take the shortcut to get there, and we'll find this money.
Let's go.
We're not taking any shortcuts. I'm not listening to a man talk about shortcuts this time. Sorry. Me and Carol will figure it out. Okay, we got this. We're like, let the women take over this time.
Yeah, they'll ask for directions and get the right answer.
A few days after the second relief party's departure, Stone and Katie had noticed that the weather was taking a downturn. A storm was approaching, and they decided to leave Donner Camp to warn the relief party. Before leaving, they tried to convince Tamsin Donner again to join them. And again, she refused. But she did ask that her daughters, Frances, Georgia, and Eliza, go with them. The men agreed. However...
Bro, 3 times?
3 times. She still did not leave her husband.
3 times? She
loves that man. She loves that man dearly.
Good for him.
That's love right there.
He must be actually a good guy.
Yeah.
I would be like, I'm so sorry, babe, but gotta go.
Yeah.
Gotta make my way.
I'll tell the world about you, okay? I'll do you right.
Yeah, I'll write something down about you. Nice and
I'll
pretty.
make the obituary make you look good.
Oh, no. The men agreed to take the 3 girls. However, they could only take them as far as the cabins at the lake, and they left them there with Keseberg. They decided not to take them the entire way because they weren't confident they could keep up with the storm on its way, and honestly, I kind of get that. Clark stayed behind with the Donners. He chose to make sure that Tamsin had somebody there, I guess. On the night of March 4th, 1847, the snowstorm did come through. The second relief party huddled together around a fire. The members from California were able to keep the fire going, but it was very tiresome. So we have the snowstorm blowing through. They, huddle around a fire. And we have the guys who were healthy and not kids keep the fire going and going and going through the snowstorm. Fire melted the snow, creating a pit that was 10 to 15 feet deep.
Yeah.
Unable to move or find food, they were officially stuck. So I don't know if you can imagine this, but imagine like 20 people in a 10 to 15 feet deep pit of snow with a fire in the middle of it.
Yep.
That's what
and then like everything in the middle is just mud.
Yep.
And it's like, I was watching one of those like survivor wilderness videos on YouTube one time, and the guy did that. He like cleared out like a bunch of snow and he made a fire in the middle, but then he had to spend a ton of energy elevating his bed using logs, because when that snow melts, it turns your whole campsite into a swamp, which then in winter snow survival, there's a phrase out there, if you sweat, you die.
Mm-hmm.
Because that sweat can't evaporate. And it's the same thing here. That water can't evaporate because it's too cold. And if you get wet, that's it. You're kind of screwed. And that storm, like if you remember on the first episode, this is something that the storm in this part of America, it doesn't drop like inches of snow in a night. It drops like feet of snow a night. So like that 10 to 15 feet pile, that was probably like in the course of a day.
Oh, yeah. It was just overnight that happened.
Jeez. That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's really scary. All right, Chapter 10, Mr. Stark and Mr. Eddie.
That's a good name. I like Eddie.
Bum, bum.
Back at the camp.
I really like the name of that chapter.
That's good. I thought it was good.
Well, you
Thank
said
you.
it. Yeah.
It's like Iron Man and
It's
Mr.
fun.
Eddie.
Actually, kind of.
What I thought of Peabody and Sherman,
Okay.
but yes, it's exactly
Tony Stark.
right.
Yes. So just a reminder, William Eddy was the, I guess you could call him the hero of the Forlorn Party. And I'll introduce you to Mr. Stark here soon. But back at the camp in Bear Valley, so now we're in the Sacramento area where we're in that camp where all of the people are trying to get to. This is the rescue rendezvous point. They have been attempting to put together another rescue party. Finding people to risk their lives for the Donner Party was no easy task, especially while the Mexican-American War was still going on down south. Despite this, they were able to get together enough supplies with the aid of Captain Hull of the U.S. Navy. The two Williams found two other men who would be paid $50. Another man, named Mr. Stark, agreed to volunteer, but he didn't want to get paid. When he agreed to go, he said, "I will go without any reward beyond that derived from the consciousness of doing a good act." Good on him.
In other words, he's trying to make up for some karma.
Maybe. But I like Mr. Stark, and I don't want to think about him that way. I just want to think that he's a good dude.
She said, actually, no.
Actually, no, you're probably
He's
right,
cool.
but I'm not going to believe that because I like Stark.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, trying to make up for bad karma.
Don't steal the glory.
But that's, he's one of those nice guys.
Yeah, he's a nice dude. I like him. I picture him in my head like what's his name? Oh, who was the wrestler from the 80s who was in Princess Bride? Andre the Giant.
Oh, okay.
I picture him in my head like Andre the Giant.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No, Andre the Giant.
Yes, exactly.
That's it.
The first wrestler that came to my brain, honestly. Booker T.
Oh boy. No, I think of Andre the Giant. And there's a reason for that. We'll keep going.
Okay.
Luckily, the weather cleared by the 8th and remained clear for a couple of weeks. So that's good. And that's just to keep track of time. The storm started on the 4th, and our friends from the Second Relief Party got stuck between the 4th and the 5th. So now we're at the 8th. They're still there.
Jeez.
On the 8th, James Reed and some others who were able to dig stairs into the wall of the snow, they were determined to ride ahead to get help for those who remained around the fire. He made it to Johnson's Ranch back in Bear Creek in short order. The Third Relief Party intercepted him. So Mr. Stark and Mr. Eddie. They intercepted him and quickly he told them what was going on and, help. We have a bunch of people stuck in a giant pit of snow. Quickly, they followed Reed's directions and left towards the pass. Back in Bear Valley, we're going back and forth, Captain Tucker and the First Relief Party stumbled into the camp safely. Yay! We're safe. The First Relief Party made it.
Woo, 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 woo.
This is the first rescue party that made its way back, and hopefully nothing happened.
Yes.
Okay.
So we made it back safe. Virginia and her siblings and her mom all made it out safe. They were given provisions and a safe place to rest. Out of the 21 people who were rescued, 19 survived the journey, including Reed's entire family, minus the two little ones in the cabins. They're still in the cabins.
Wow.
On March 12th, so now we're 8, 9, 10, 4 days after. On March 12th, the 7 men of the Third Relief Party had found the members in what was dubbed the Starved Camp, deep in a pit of snow. 11 had survived. We have 11 people out of 17, 18, like 21 people, I think, survived. And they survived by eating the dead when food ran out.
Hate that.
They were there for 10 days. 10 days. William Eddy, and I'm sorry, just FYI, this is kind of rough. I think I left some stuff out, but William Eddy described what he found later in an interview. The fire at the starved camp had melted the snow down to the ground, bare dirt, and the hole thus made was about 15 feet in diameter and 24 feet deep. 24 feet deep.
Jeez.
As the snow had continued to melt, they, the survivors, made steps in which they ascended and descended. The picture of distress was shocking indeed. Yeah, I left out the gross stuff.
Oh.
But I'm sure your imaginations will do that for me. The Third Relief Party decided to split up. Mr. Stark, Stone, and Howard Oakley would stay and return the 11 survivors to Bear Valley. Eddie, Foster, and the remainder of the group would continue to the camps at the lake. All right, so we got Mr. Stark staying with the 11 people in the pit and Mr. Eddie finishing the trip to help everybody else. Stone, Stark, and Oakley had discussed how to proceed. Stone and Oakley brought up one child each and said that was all they could do. And just to be fair to these guys, the pit's 24 feet deep and they're carrying 2 kids.
That is not an easy feat to like.
It's not easy.
I could do one, so
yeah,
good on them, honestly.
Yeah, good on them. Fair.
They were built different back then, that's for sure. Or people were built differently back then.
Yeah.
No, this is why I like Stark so much, and this is why I think of Andre the Giant. Stark disagreed. He was like, no.
Does he want a peanut?
Instead, well, what they wanted to do was they wanted to leave the rest. So Stone and Oakley were like, we can only save one. We have to, sacrifice everybody else. And we can only save these two. Stark was like, no, we're not doing that. Stark was like, I will save the 9 remaining people while you guys can take your one.
Jeez.
And with a backpack and an axe on his back, he began going down into the pit, picking up children 2 at a time and the adults 1 at a time. There were 2 adults. The Breens were down there. Going up and down multiple times, he made the children laugh, joking that they were so light due to the lack of food that he could probably carry them all if his back were big enough.
Oh my god.
Anybody want a peanut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said he would not rest until all 9 of them were out of the pit. Go, Mr. Stark.
Okay.
James Breen.
Period, King.
Right? James Breen, Patrick Breen's son, who was also in the pit, later said in an interview, to his great bodily strength and unexcelled courage, myself and others owe our lives. There was probably no other men in California at the time who had the intelligence, determination, and what was absolutely necessary to have in that emergency. Stark and his companions returned the survivors to Bear Valley, where they could finally rest peacefully.
Tears.
So high five to Mr. Stark.
Gosh.
Andre. Mr.
Anybody
Stark.
want a peanut? Gang. Sorry. I'll slow down.
History's first recorded incident of Popeye.
Right. 9 people out of a 24-foot deep pit.
Through snow. Like, you got to try to pull them out of a snow pit like that. It's not like the snow was very structurally sound.
And 2 of them were adults.
I can't even walk on snow, honestly. So the fact that you can carry people out of the snow, like, stably. And how deep was that pit? 24 feet?
24 feet. Yeah.
Yep.
Are you joking? I'm barely 4 feet. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's like the height of a 2-story house.
Yeah, no.
To put it in perspective, that's how far down they were. It was like 2 stories.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's craziness. Ugh. The remainder of the 3rd relief party made it to Truckee Lake on March 14th. So now we're with William Eddy and William Foster. Between the 2nd relief party and the 3rd, the only people who remained alive were 5 children, Tamsin Donner, George Donner, surprisingly, Keseberg, and Clark. William Eddy and William Foster were devastated to learn that their wives and children had perished when they got there.
Mm.
Yeah, I was just about to say, wait, what about the kids? Dang it. I hate this.
I know. Back at the Alder Creek camp, Tamsin Donner was still strong enough, despite all that she had been through. Despite her personal health, she remained with her dying husband when asked to leave. She still remained. Keseberg, who was now bedridden and surviving from cannibalizing the dead, also refused to leave. Keseberg is interesting. I don't know how to feel about him.
Yeah.
Overall, though, the Williams, William Foster, William Eddy, left with 5 children and Mr. Clark. They had to leave George Donner there because he was too weak to leave, and they knew that he wasn't going to make the trip. And Tamsin still refused to leave.
That sucks. Like, especially...
That's crazy.
Like, one, it sucks for the people that are alive. Like, hey, you're not going to make it. Like, how do you have that conversation? And then to actually be George Donner himself, like, well, I guess I'm dying here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know how you can rationalize that in your head.
And then his wife, who's like split in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like his wife has to like be stuck in this middle place where she's like, I could continue and try to continue life, or I could sit here and hope for the best. And she chose the hardest one. I would say.
Meanwhile, I'm too lazy to go downstairs and make a sandwich.
I literally ask my children to go get my phone off the anything. Like, can you please go get my phone? Like, you're right there. I'm like, please, can you go get it? But like, you're so much closer. You have no idea the trauma I will have to withstand in order to get. You
guys
to my phone.
Don't know what I've been through.
You haven't walked a day in my shoes, children. Please go get the dang phone. Like, stop making this difficult for everyone.
Meanwhile, you have
here.
Mr. Stark.
I already have it hard enough, okay?
Yeah, Mr. Stark climbing 2 stories of snow with children on his back.
Yeah. You know, I think I could do that. I could probably do that. I could totally do that. In my dreams. In my dreams of dreams of dreams.
And the one thing I do want to add that I don't think we really paid attention to, the this is like 10,000 feet elevation. So it's not like there's a lot of air.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure they're acclimatized to it, but like even 6,000 feet, you feel that.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what it must be like a 10th. Yeah.
I'm an asthmatic.
Right.
It's just like, jeez.
I would collapse halfway up. Yeah. I mean, like, what if one of them had asthma and they didn't even know it? Like, what if Andre the Giant had freaking asthma and half of a lung and he didn't even know it?
He would have made it.
That.
Yeah. I think it wouldn't matter if he had tuberculosis. I feel like that guy would have figured it out.
Yeah, that guy, props.
Yeah, he could be gangrenous and be dying of every gonosyphilis you can think of. And
meanwhile, the three of us are passing out watching somebody else do this.
Literally getting our butts kicked in kickball by middle school because we can barely run to the next base.
At sea level.
We did our best, champions.
Oh, no. All right. Overall, William Eddy and his men left with 5 children and Mr. Clark. They'd make it back to Bear Valley safely before the end of March. So we made it, friends. A 4th relief party was organized, but it was delayed until April due to blizzards rolling through the Sierras. The winter of 1846 and 1847 was subsequently documented as the most severe winter recorded in Sierra Nevada to that date. That's bad luck.
Yeah.
Right?
Give them a break.
During that time, so during the period between March and April, George Donner had died at Alder Creek Camp. After he died, Tamsin hiked the 7 miles to the cabins to find survivors. While there, she met with Keseberg, who was now seemingly mad because he was eating a lot of human flesh, but he was alive.
That was your choice, sir.
He chose.
We have good consequences and we have bad consequences with our choices.
But
Just
also, like, here's the thing, though. The thing with Keseberg is, okay.
Survival, bro.
He could have gone with that last relief party, and he chose not to. So, yes, you are in a survival situation where you have to go to those extremes to survive. But he didn't go with that other relief party. It's not like Tamsin, who chose to stay with her husband. So he's an interesting person.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Tamsin did not survive the night.
What?
She hiked there.
What?
She found Keseberg in his cabin, and then she died overnight.
Oh.
And they think she died of exposure, but also Keseberg, after he was rescued, said that he ate her.
Get off with his head. Off with his head.
I know. It's bad.
I'm so... First of all, you hit me with the gut-wrenching information
that she died.
That she didn't even make it through the night.
Right.
And then you tell me that homeboy over here, Mr. Cannibal Killer.
Yeah.
Like, room is like...
I'm gonna make it worse.
I'm so upset.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna make it worse, no. and then we'll get to the better things. Okay. The 4th relief. Okay, here we go. The 4th relief party arrived at Truckee Lake in mid-April. They found one survivor, Mr. Keseberg. He was found in one of the cabins. I know. He was found in one of the cabins surrounded by eaten body parts in various states. He has also been hoarding gold and jewelry from fallen members of the party.
Off with his head.
When the rescuers picked him up and they towed him back to Sutter's Fort. So he was...
The rage going through my fingertips right now.
He was hoarding jewelry and stuff from the people he was eating.
Do you want me to tell you how I feel about this guy? Because I'll tell you how I feel about this guy. I don't like him.
He's not my favorite.
I don't like that at all.
I felt the same thing when I was reading about
berries,
him.
My friend.
And then I wanted to read more about him later. I think I wrote about it. Let me see.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah.
I kind of want to know more about this guy because I feel like there's more to him than what is meeting the eye. Because you would, in a situation like this, I feel like you would have somebody that would like hoard the gold and jewelry and stuff like that.
You have to have someone stingy, yeah.
Well, no, I'm not saying necessarily stingy, but you got to have somebody that can keep track of all that for when like then how does it get back to civilization and all that? Because it's useless there. So like it wouldn't make sense.
But there's dead bodies everywhere.
That's the other side of it too, though. It's just like, yeah, on one hand, he's got all this stuff that he's been hoarding, but then there's also partially eaten bodies and whatnot. Like, I feel like there's a lot going on there. I'm leaning towards kind of being a douchebag, like on the spectrum of being.
Sounds like a mess.
Yeah, like there's a spectrum of like a normal human being and then douchebag. I feel like he leans more towards that direction, but I feel like there's got to be more to his story than what we know.
I want to know more about him because I want to know about like who he is as a person before
making judgments.
You know, because like this is a survival situation where you have to survive, and you have to do, and you have to go to whatever measure you have to go to in order to survive. Like I fully understand that. I will never blame or judge anyone for that, but like who you were before that will also give me a little bit of an inkling as like if your intention is like true survival or if it was, because honestly, like people are twisted. You never know. Like he could have been some guy who was just like stingy and then decided like, okay, I'm in this, this fight or flight situation. I'm going to eat all these guys and then I'm going to take all their money. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd like to know more about who he was before this, before casting too much judgment, but I don't like him, honestly.
Yeah.
So far.
I'm right there with you. Like I'm leaning towards him being a douchebag, but like this is just how it's being presented to us, right? This is the narrative that is being presented to us from somebody else's perspective. So they're kind of like they're calling all the shots.
Yeah, this is what the relief party found.
Yeah, you can only read so much before. Yeah.
I will say that I did find a resource with more information about Keysburg, what happened before, what happened after. There was a whole court case about Keysburg.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I will paste that bad boy if I haven't already in the notes, because I just realized that I did not type up the aftermath of Keysburg when I thought I was going to, but that's okay. So I will make sure to put that resource in here. That way, if anybody is interested, you can read more about him. Because he is an interesting figure, and I had the same exact feelings and thought process. It was like, this guy sucks and blah blah blah, but really, like, let's read about him, So that's why I was saying he's an interesting person that I have mixed feelings about, because I really don't like how his story ended, but at the same time, I can't judge him for what he chose to do.
Where did his story begin? Yeah, 100%. You know what you should do? You should do like a little mini update, like mini episode about him, just to like give us more information about him, because I don't know, I got a lot of questions.
I can do that.
I could do my own research, but I am lazy. I don't like to go get my own phone. So.
I can totally do that. I can also write about it and put it in my little Kara's Corner section at the website.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that would be good. Yeah, I like that idea, because I definitely want to know more about
I'm gonna note that.
His choices previously.
Let me note that so I don't forget. Sorry if you hear typing, everybody
Don't
who's
forget,
listening to me.
I will. Oh, but it's
That's
satisfying.
true.
Everyone listen.
Oops.
Yeah, and he was also like the last survivor of it.
Yes.
So
he was the last person rescued.
Lord knows what his state of mind was being the last person out.
I also kind of don't. Okay, listen. Maybe it's because I watch way too much horror stuff and listen to too much true crime, but like Last Man Standing kind of gives a little bit of sus vibes to me. It's like, how like there's the family massacre and the son is the only one alive and he's like, oh my God, I don't know what happened, but really like he's behind it. It gives me a little bit of like that kind of thing. Like there's more, like there's definitely more, and it feels a little bit more in malice than in like more survival, if that makes sense. Like it was just like an okay decision, and it wasn't a hard decision to make, which is not okay to me. I don't like that. You should have to think a couple times before eating someone, at least 3 for sure.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do more research on Keysburg and write something up for you. I shall
do it.
All right, so before we get to our final chapter, I'm going to leave this section with a quote from Virginia. In a letter to her cousin, she writes, "My dear cousin, we're all very well pleased with California. It is a beautiful country. It ought to be a beautiful country to pay us for our trouble getting there. Tell Henrietta if she wants to get married to come to California, she can get a Spaniard anytime." Virginia Reed.
Love that. Love that. High hopes, optimism.
We love Virginia.
Outlook. Love it.
All right, chapter 11, the aftermath. So we're just going to wrap it up here. The final relief party arrived at Bear Valley on April 25th, 1847. It was 1 year and 11 days after the Donner Party left Springfield, Illinois. It was supposed to take 6 months. Tops.
A 3-hour tour.
The fact that it was supposed to just take 6 months, quote unquote, is already crazy.
Yeah.
A year of nonstop fight or flight. I mean, granted, I've had like 30 years of it, but that's crazy. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yep. They began with 87 men, women, and children. Of those 87, 42 would perish, while 45 survived the ordeal. All of the Reeds survived. All of the Breens survived. For the Donners, all 4 adults died. 4 children died, but 9 children survived.
God.
Those numbers, if you're looking from like a company standpoint, those numbers aren't bad.
Mm-mm.
Like if you look at like what they had to, yes, like a lot of people died. And that's not fun, right? But like given how many people went and how many people made it, I feel like those are pretty good numbers.
Yeah, like it could have been way worse.
Oh yeah, like it could have just been Keensburg for all I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
That was I would have been so angry.
For me,
oh man, I've been so angry.
For me, it's the of the Donner children, like 9 survived, and like how do you have a Thanksgiving meal after that, knowing how many people, including all the adults, passed? Like they're basically orphans. So
they are orphans.
Well, I don't know if they have relatives,
it's
that could move out and stuff like that. But yeah, these kids are just on their own now.
Yeah, let's call up Aunt
Most of them were taken in by
just kidding,
family members or friends.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's got to just be a rough family reunion. Like just
generally speaking, the it's kind of agreed that the Donners got it the worst in terms of.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I definitely think that they went through a lot.
They went through a lot. And just to
for a long time too, for the adults to live for as long as they did and then pass away.
Yeah.
Like
George and Jacob were in their 60s.
The end.
Man.
Tamsin was in her 40s, if I remember right. Her late 40s.
That's crazy.
Just to kind of sum it up a little bit so we can kind of, on the grand scope of things from when we left Springfield, Illinois to when we got to Johnson's Ranch, 5 died on their way to the camp, so on their way to the lake. 34 died at the camps, and 1 died after they reached Johnson's Ranch. Most of the survivors were physically affected by the journey, of course, due to frostbite or malnutrition. Many were also psychologically disturbed after what they endured, witnessed, or what they had to do to survive. And it just, people dealt with it differently, or they moved forward differently, as you can imagine. I didn't get a lot of information or details in terms of like the psychological effects. It was hard to find, probably because, they
it's
didn't
also
want to
going to
talk
be
about
hard
it.
It's going to be hard to define because what textbook, what psychology textbook would have tips and tricks on how to handle something like this? Like there isn't. How can you tell if somebody's coping in a healthy way or not? Like you can't, because what do you compare it to?
One thing I did find really interesting though was that even after this, a lot of the people who survived this still tried to encourage people to come to California and travel, but just don't take the shortcut. I thought that was really interesting. They were like, no, still travel out here, just do it safely. So let's go into a little bit of detail in terms of the survivors, just because I know I would probably be chewed out if I didn't. So the Donner's 3 daughters, the ones that left with the Third Relief Party, Eliza, Georgia, and Frances, they were taken in by a Swiss family in California. They all grew up and they got married and they had children of their own. Eliza had collected the accounts of her sisters along with her own memories and put them together in a book called The Expedition of the Donner Party and Its Tragic Fate, published in 1911. I'm sure you could find that if you ever want to read it. Jacob Donner's oldest son was rescued by the First Relief Party at the age of 9. He would grow up in California. He got married and he had 8 kids. Mary Donner was rescued by Stark from the starve camp. She was 7. Her frostbitten foot healed over time, and she lived until 1860 after having a daughter. James Reed would publish his notes and letters to various newspapers, spreading his accounts across the country. He settled his family in San Jose, where he farmed and participated in civil affairs. He lived until 1874. Virginia Reed was 13 when the first party rescued her. She had written her account of the events in a letter to a cousin in Illinois. The letter was published in an Illinois journal in 1847. You can still read most of it. In 1891, she also wrote a memoir for another magazine that was published. It's less accurate due to the time that had passed, of course. You know, memories they can be fickle, but it is better written. So it's easier to read because the spelling's better, the writing's better. You know, obviously she's much older, but we or historians like to go by the letter to her cousin for historical accuracy. Her younger siblings had all survived and they all grew up in San Jose. Today, the city has streets named after James, Virginia, Margaret, and Martha. So you can go to San Jose and they have streets named after them. I thought that was interesting. Patrick Breen and his family did not actively publish their accounts like the Reeds did. The Diary of Patrick Breen was published anonymously at first. That kind of just highlights the contrast between his perspective of having that recognition versus the Reeds who just outwardly published everything. James Stark rescued Patrick Reed and his wife from the starving camp in 1847. The family lived a peaceful, quiet life in San Juan Bautista on a ranch with 7 children. So they did okay.
It's amazing how they just you slam out as many kids as possible. Like that was the priority back then. Is just have as many kids as you possibly can. Right.
The letters and diary entries published in newspapers slowed migration down. So the story got out and people took the accounts very, very seriously. Like they were scared. It put fear into the hearts of people who were traveling in the year of 1847, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
A sharp decline in immigration occurred, and you can see it in like census numbers and official paperwork. It occurred throughout 1847 and early 1848. The Hastings cutoff was officially abandoned. I would hope so.
That's the shortcut, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the shortcut.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah. Was it?
That was abandoned.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice.
And then in 1848, in January, gold was discovered at John Sutter's Creek, while Sutter and his men were building a mill near the fort. I thought that was really interesting that John Sutter, the guy who was helping these people cross, was also the guy who discovered gold in California, starting the gold rush.
Yeah. And I can't remember, but I thought it was John Sutter. I would have to double check it, but there was like the whole California gold rush thing started because there was a dude that was trying to build like a commune for like women. And he was out trying to find a certain mineral that you make shampoo out of. And then that's where he found gold and then it all exploded.
I would check that because I read that he was trying to build a mill near his fort.
Okay. Yeah, it was a show back on the History Channel. It was like the History World channel because that was like the only thing that was still showing history. And there was a show on there that kind of talked about like how these really famous moments in human history kind of start from like really abstract, weird things. And this was also, I remember listening to this, 25 years ago. So my memory is probably a little trashed. So I'll have to double check that. And
if that's true, that I think that's a cooler story than just building a mill. But
let's adopt that story.
Yeah.
And tell that story.
Right.
Let's rewrite history. Literally.
The news of gold hit San Francisco, and from there it spread like wildfire. By 1949, hundreds of thousands of immigrants made their way to California looking for fortune. The stories of the Donner Party remain memorable, but no longer deterred travelers to try to strike it rich. In 1850, following the conclusion of the Mexican-American War in 1848, California was officially admitted as a state by the U.S. government, and over the years, traffic over the pass, now called Donner's Pass, has increased, turning into a well-traveled road, though not so much in the winter. The name of Truckee Lake was changed to Donner Lake. It turned into a tourist attraction and a popular vacation spot with hints of its haunting past sprinkled throughout. Today, Donner Lake is a memorial state park with memorial statues, markers, and a museum commemorating the Donner Party and telling their story. And I am going to leave you with one final quote from our girl Virginia.
I'm gonna cry. Hold on,
And-
let me get my tissues.
Get your tissues. This is
Virginia's always got some bars.
She does. And this is in her letter
As the
to her
kids would say.
cousin. Oh, Mary, I have not wrote you half of the trouble we've had, but I have wrote you enough to let you know what the trouble is. But thank God we are the only family that did not eat human flesh. We have left everything. We have left
Sorry,
everything, but
that's
I don't
crazy.
care for that. We have got through with our lives. Don't let this letter dishearten anybody. Remember, never take no cutoffs and hurry along as fast as you can. Virginia Reed.
Period. Queen, say it
1847.
again for the people in the back. Please, Virginia Reed.
Yeah.
Please, Virginia Reed. Tell us one more time. Remember, never take no cutoffs. Period. End of story. Better hurry up.
And that's it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. What an adventure.
Yeah, dude.
I'm horrified.
It's rough.
I have to relive this all over again. And it was like way more interesting than what I ever knew, like what I ever retained. So I'm
Mhm.
like learning this again. I'm like, oh God, it's worse than I was even told.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
God.
bad. Like, it's really bad, but then at the same time, you have these moments of just epic humanity
Yeah.
of people,
100%.
you know, stepping in and doing the right thing even when they don't want to.
100%.
Like all of the men in the relief parties, like Stark, like Reed and Eddie.
Yeah. The people that like stayed back to help the children and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have crazy moments of bravery from little kids.
Yeah.
Like, Ma, if you don't see me again,
if you don't make it.
do the best you can.
Oh my God.
Or Virginia holding her
Almost
entire
died.
family together. Like, it's a whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this is one of those moments in human history that, as terrible and tragic as they are, they kind of have to happen in a way, because it really shows you that rarely seen human drive, right?
Mhm.
We look at these human beings, and here we are supposed to be the most advanced animal on the face of this planet and all the other fun stuff, but yet you take us out of our houses and away from our grocery stores and away from our cell phones, and we're good for like maybe an hour in the wilderness. But then you have people like this that just, man, they just survive the worst of the worst, and they get to move on. Though, like survivors, they move on. They have families. I mean, how many thousands of people are now descendant from these folks? And now, like, whatever genetically those survivors had that made them superior and better and all that kind of stuff physiologically, that gets passed on. And then you add in the stories and their accounts and how they viewed things, how they got through it. It just further reinforces that whole, like, humans don't suck as much as we think they do. But the same events also bring out the worst in humanity. And thankfully, I think a lot of that kind of gets like swept away. We don't focus on that too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an
epic story.
That's like a dumpster fire that's more like a landfill fire, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's a global fire.
Yes.
The biggest tire fire on the planet.
It's like the worst thing you could do is eat another person, and it happened a couple times too. This is a big fire.
Well, I'm glad though, like the people weren't criticized. I don't feel like they were criticized for having to do that. I think a lot of people, and maybe that was just like California at that time. They'd be like, "Well, man, that sucks that you had to eat people, but good on you." Like, versus say like on the East Coast where you would have way more traditional, like, no, you're good Christians and you're going to burn in hell for that, when that's not the case at all. So yeah, I'm just glad though that these people weren't portrayed as like some weird,
terrible,
like cults.
People.
Yeah, these were
Weird
people that
people.
Yeah, this is what they had to do to survive. It wasn't their first option. So I'm glad it didn't get twisted.
Yeah, this isn't the Appalachian Mountains, babe. They had to survive.
Yes. So man, that's an epic one, Kara.
What a ride.
Another one in the books. I'm glad you liked it.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the flesh. I mean the dust.
No.
There you go.
Sorry, guys. I had to do it. I'm really sorry. I really shamelessly had to do it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I feel marginally bad for making the jokes that I did earlier, but that's also how
I was gonna come back to that and be like,
that's why.
That's how I get through tough stuff like this.
Yeah,
is just you gotta laugh at certain things in order to get through
sometimes it. Sometimes you have to laugh at a funeral. It's the only thing you can do.
Yes.
If you sometimes you have to laugh at a funeral. It's the only thing you can do. As long as it's been over 100 years, for sure.
Right. That's fair. With all of that being said, Ed, do you have a palate cleanser?
I do. Yes. I think pretty much anything would be a palate cleanser after something
9/11.
like this.
Oh no.
That's still too soon.
And we're gonna talk about
the
politics.
Titan sub. Here we go. Yeah. Oh yeah. Politics. That would be a great one. No, I'm kind of diving into movies a little bit. I feel like that's one area we haven't really covered all that much. That, okay, we're going to get the best of the best actors. We're going to get like the best storyline. We're going to throw in all these special effects. Like, we're going to check all the boxes, and there's no way this movie can do poorly in the theaters. And then it just absolutely flops. So that's what I'm working on. I'm working on Kevin Costner's Waterworld from back in the day, 1995, where this movie had so much going for it. And then when it actually hit the theater, because of the really, really, really bad decisions that were done in the process of trying to make the movie, the tabloids ran with it and kind of railroaded it into the ground. Like, it was basically, what is it, review trolled? Or review bombed. It was review bombed before it even hit theaters. And it lost an exorbitant amount of money. But there's a lot of like mini, like funnier stories and all that. So, which is funny in its own way, because like I actually liked Waterworld. I didn't think it was that bad of a movie.
Oh, I just laugh at it every time I see it.
Yeah, like it's almost like a cult. It's like a cult classic now. And it actually does, like, if you look at the original or the director's cut, the writers did make some pretty compelling arguments about how we're treating the world today. But oh my goodness, some of the decisions that they had when you have people like Steven Spielberg that is like, guys, don't film it in the ocean. film it in a studio. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
It will look staged, but don't go out in the middle of the ocean. And then like 2 weeks later, they're in the middle of the ocean and they lose everything. Just because
Perfect.
like so many people gave really, really good advice on how to make this movie and they didn't follow any of it. And yeah. So there's a lot of funnier stories in it. There's going to be a lot of like little anecdotes and just moments that'll make
Does
you
anyone
scratch your
die?
head.
Does
No.
anyone die? Okay, God.
Nobody dies, but some people get hurt. And there was like one dude that got lost in a jet ski for like a day
Sweet.
in the middle of the ocean.
Okay, so I will take that if no one died. I will be
Yes.
here for the next episode if no one died.
Yes,
It doesn't sound
nobody
like anybody's gonna
dies
die.
in this. It's just one of those things. Is like, how do they think that this is one of these things where like they try to plan out everything so that you ask the question, what could possibly go wrong? But it's a little different in that you can see how they planned out everything, and you're like,
They had
I
quick
know
notes.
like this. I can tell this is gonna just fail miserably.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So yes, it's
Excellent.
going to be one of those things where we get to watch other people make bad decisions, and we can tell from the very beginning, like, oh, this isn't going to work.
This is
So-
gonna be good.
Yeah,
Not good, I
like
mean.
content. So yeah, that's what I've got coming up here.
Excellent. Well, that sounds like a perfect
love
palate
that.
cleanser. Yeah.
I won't bring you guys a palate cleanser. I will bring you guys something to need a palate cleanser for.
I have
After.
a palate cleanser
Woohoo!
in the making, so we'll make it work.
Yeah, it sounds like our next
You
couple
got
of episodes are coming out are going to be lighter. Like
Yeah.
they're going to be a little more back to our roots of comedic.
Maybe not Deja, but
Yeah,
I'm like, I might be the Debbie Downer here, but
yeah, we'll have to work around
roller
her.
coaster.
it's fine. I
Well,
spent
know,
a
it'll
month
be
and a half
something.
being the Debbie Downer, and it's not that bad.
Honestly, I don't know how your mental health is doing right now, especially because it's the end of the school year as well, and you had to read about cannibalism. So
Oh, dude, I'm doing great.
very proud of you, Kara.
Thank you. I'll show you what my next episode is going to be, and you can see why I'm doing great.
You're
With all
perfect.
of that being
she said,
said,
mental health on tier.
Yeah, now keep in mind, Deja, she's going to leave me out of it. She's just going to tell
no,
you.
I was
so-
showing you all of my sources
I know.
yesterday.
I know. I'm just giving you crap because I have this labeled on our recording software as Kara Surprise Part 3.
But
You
you're-
have to do an episode where you tell me and not Ed, and so I can like give him crap about it and be like, I know and you don't.
I'll see
Yeah,
what other
just
disastrous
gaslight.
historical event I can find.
Oh my god, I will gaslight him so hard.
Perfect. On that
You're
note,
going to be like, no, we told you, Ed. We told you all this time. You just ignored us.
Like, we don't have a podcast. What are you talking about?
jeez. What do you
You
mean?
mean?
If
Never
you
happened.
would like to contact us, or if you have any ideas for a podcast episode topic, you can email us at thedaysdumpsterfire@gmail.com. You can also message us or text us using the little text message code thingy on each episode. You can reach us at our website at thedaysdumpsterfire.com. We are also on Instagram at thedaysdumpsterfire. And I think that's all I got right now. So,
Oh, make sure you hit the website.
yep, I said that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
We're good.
Well, and the big thing too with the website is make sure you hit the website because there you can find us on. Yeah, but we have links that go straight to Spotify or iTunes or Amazon or whatever. So that makes it easier to subscribe to us. And then don't forget too, because Kara, I'm sorry, you do a really bad job self-promoting your artwork.
That's because I
So
haven't put it up yet. It's not up there
I
yet.
know, but I'll do the job for you of promoting your artwork. Guys, go on there, check it out. She likes to do a lot of
it.
themed stuff, and it's pretty cool
Spot
stuff.
on.
And yeah, and we're thinking about maybe making prints that we could put for sale on there. And yeah, the artwork is usually a good, like the vibe of the artwork really matches the vibe of the show. So be sure to go check it out.
Yeah. It's great. It's fantastic.
Sweet.
Very good.
Very good.
Very
Well,
good.
I'm going to end it and say keep it a hot mess.
That's
Keep
my
it the
line.
hottest mess.
The hottest.
The hottest mess. Like Paris.
Keep it like a steaming mess.
Perfect. We'll catch you guys
that
next
makes
time.
me think of poop.
All
All
right.
right. We'll see you later.
Okay, bye.
All right. See y'all later.